All right, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. So this video is being done because it was requested of me. Somebody made a comment on yesterday's video that I put out about UTMA accounts for kids and how to invest for them, for their financial well-being, in the future. And somebody made a comment that said, hey, could you make a video on kind of tips and tricks about how to teach your kids about money and, all that kind of stuff. I'm also going to talk about, what I'm doing with my son who is 6, what my plan is all the way through his teen years. And some of the things, not only the financial stuff that I want to teach him, because I think it's super important. Finance runs our lives basically in a big way. And if you can achieve financial freedom, which hopefully you can, if you invest money, man, in a UTMA account for your kid, you put even $1,000 in there for the Grayscale run. It's like, and you invest in Grayscale funds and crypto ETFs and crypto stocks like Coinbase, MicroStrategy over the bull runs. They're going to be wealthy. So you're going to have a rich kid basically by the time they're 18 to 21 when you have to turn the UTMA account over to them, which presents a conundrum, because it's like young adults with large amounts of money can get into a heck of a lot of trouble. So I'll talk about some things that I'm kind of thinking about to kind of strategize. Now, obviously I haven't gone through this yet, so it's the real life hasn't hit me. It's like my son isn't a teenager yet, where I'm going to be teaching him most of this stuff, but I've started to think about what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, so I'll take you through that. What I have done thus far is probably what most people have done, is like you give your kids like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars for doing tours. He's gotten some money from like grandparents and stuff for like birthdays, stuff like that. I got him a piggy bank a couple years ago. He's now upgraded that to a safe. So he's got like a little toy safe that he keeps his money in. And he knows about money, the basics of it, like that it takes money to buy things, and that he's saving up towards buying something that he really likes, that he's interested in, like Pokemon cards. So that's good. He also knows the basics from what a 6-year-old can understand of like the core concepts of like a bank account, and like a debit card. Because I guess one of his friends like was talking about a debit card, about their parents' debit card. So he asked me about that. And then also asked like, what's the difference between that and a credit card, which I thought was a pretty good question for a 6-year-old. So I tried to explain it. I don't know, damn, I got a fly or a gnat or something. But anyway, so I don't know that the credit card thing really sunk in as easily as the debit card thing, but he's 6. I've got a ways to go before I can really start teaching him about finance, money, all that kind of stuff. So, I want to teach him everything, like when he's, in his teens, about money, like how it works, how to earn money, different ways to earn it, either through investing, starting a business, becoming an employee, getting a job, all that kind of stuff. Teach them about inflation, teach them about compound interest, the rule of 72, how long it takes to double an investment, how to get a mortgage, how to pay taxes, what else, all the stuff like that, like interest, like loans, the dangers of credit cards and credit card debt, all that kind of stuff. What I'm gonna do, my dad did this when I was young. My dad would pay me 50 cents for each book that I would read, that I would give him a report on, a verbal report on. And so I got paid 50 cents. I love spending that money on candy and stuff. It's probably equivalent to like $2 or $3 a book now with inflation. I'm gonna do that same thing with my son, with books, but I'm also gonna do it with YouTube videos. I'm going to, age appropriate, have him watch different videos on things and then give me a report, and then he'll get a reward for that he can save, that he can spend, that all that kind of stuff. So for example, I'll have him do a YouTube search for senior poverty. And if you haven't done this, you should do it, man. It's so sad. A lot of people are in a really bad spot, but I want him to know that and see that people not all people have a lot of money. Because it's like he's got a rich dad. He's got a rich dad, and he's going to be really rich by the time he's 21. Oh my God. So he needs to see that people don't have money. I'm going to teach him, have him go and learn about homeless people, on YouTube and on the web. And also learn about things like investing in crypto and stocks and all that kind of stuff. So here's my plan, because I want to get some hands-on stuff with him too. And probably the first time I'll probably do this is probably when he is 13, 14, because we're going to be heading into a bull run probably. That's 2 bull runs from now. And what I'll do is I'll give him, like, say $500 of crypto. I'll say, you've got $500 worth of crypto. You can invest it, in whatever cryptos that you want, but you have to do the research, right? And it's like, so I'll obviously have to buy them for him, because he won't be able to open an account on Binance or Coinbase, but I'll get them for him. And then, I'll teach him how to store them on a Trust wallet or Exodus wallet, and he can watch them grow in value over the bull run. And when he wants to cash out, I'll teach him how to cash out, different methods for doing it. And what I'll do is probably just have him convert it to a stable coin like USDC when he cashes out, and then he'll transfer that to me. I'll sell it on Coinbase and pay taxes, obviously, and then give him whatever's left. So it's a real world example. He'll be like 14 or so when that bull run happens. Real life example of what happens to a $500 investment, for example, in cryptocurrency, because really nice thing. I'm gonna do the same thing with stocks. I thought I heard about some site, and somebody might make a comment below. If you know of a site, if you know what I'm talking about, please make a comment. There's some site I heard about that was designed for this, where you could kind of set up a fake brokerage account that was virtual and wasn't real, and so you could buy, quote unquote, different stocks and stuff and just see how they grew over time, without being able to cash out, obviously, because it's fake. But it still gives a kid a good example of how investing works and how all that kind of stuff. So I'll explain brokerage accounts and all that kind of stuff, transferring money around, all that kind of stuff. And at some point, I don't know when, I'm debating whether to do this or when to do this. I'll probably show him his UTMA account, which is going to have multiple millions of dollars in it by the time he gets to, even 14. It's like, so it's going to be crazy. But I will want him to think about the investments that are there, understand them, and give feedback to me. Ultimately, I make the ultimate decision, since I'm the custodian of the UTMA account. I don't want to make mistakes, but I will explain to him if he's making a mistake. It'll be, I think, a really good learning experience. So I want him to be a part of that. In terms of keeping a kid grounded, because if you might not think this video applies to you, but because you might not have kids right now, but guess what? In 3 years, you might have kids, or a kid. And this might apply to you. So it's if you contribute some money into a UTMA account for them, or if you get an older kid who's generating W-2 income and you can open a Roth for them, well, you put it into the crypto stuff. It's they can make a ton of money. And so it's really good. I'm gonna, you want your kid to stay grounded, all right? I'm gonna come back to this, and let me skip back to something I forgot about. So when he is probably 12, maybe 13, I'm going to get him a check card to actually be able to buy things, from a bank account. Now, he's too young to open his own bank account. I think he has to be 18 for that, but I can open a joint bank account with him, basically be the co-signer, co-owner of it, the person responsible for it, essentially, and order a check card for him. So I can put a little bit of money in there, for allowance stuff or whatever, and that will allow him to buy things with a check card. When he gets to the age of 16, and probably just before 16, I'll do the same thing, similar thing with my credit card company, one of them. A lot of credit card companies allow you to do this. Obviously, kids under 18 can't open their own credit card, but as a parent, you can basically ask for a dependent card, a card for your kid. There might be actually a technical term for that, but you can open that. I know my dad did that for me. When I was 18, before I went off to college, I had an emergency credit card. So I'm going to do that before I ended up getting my own. So I'm going to do that for my son probably at the age of 16. Still be driving around just in case something happens. It's good to have two forms of payment, a debit card and a check card. I think are super important, and understand, that it's important to pay off a credit card every month so you don't get charged interest at very high rates. And at some point, I'll actually have him do grocery shopping. After he gets a debit card, I'll put money in there. It's okay, well, let's go get some groceries. He's been to the grocery store with me before, and just help to pick things out. Obviously, they're kid friendly that he likes, but I want to teach him. It's okay, well, let's go buy groceries, and he can actually pay for it using the money that I put into the account with the check card. I think that would be good. I think that'd be good for him to start to get used to these things. I want to teach him about all that kind of stuff. I'm going to want him ideally to get a part-time job during the summers when he's in his later teens, but maybe not full-time, because I'm thinking If he's working 20 hours a week or 30 hours a week, the rest of the hours, I could actually teach him stuff, that I think are important. And pay him for it, pay him for it. So it's like, so we'll have to see how that goes, what he feels about that and all that kind of stuff. When he's 18, I can't make him do anything, but I'm gonna suggest he goes to college at a non-woke, non-liberal college, if they still exist, and get a degree that's actually useful so that he has something that he can put on a resume and obviously get a job. Now, he won't have to work, but I want him to work. I want him to know what it's like to have responsibility, to show up to work on time, to put in the effort, to get things done, right? I think that's really important, important skill attribute for all of us in life. And if somebody doesn't have that experience, like they don't appreciate what they have. So if you're setting up a UTMA account for your kid and you don't teach them about money, you don't teach them like the benefits of hard work and all that kind of stuff, they're not going to appreciate stuff. I want my son to know, I'll teach him like most people have to go to work their entire lives and trade their time for money, right? And trade their time for money, they're trading their life away for money. But if you've got money and you can be a good investor, you don't have to do that. Your money can create money for you and you can live off that versus having to get a job. Now, you can work if you want, but you don't have to. And that's the key, like not having to work. Like I like working every once in a while, but I don't want to have to work all the time, right? I want to work on the things that I want. We all want those things, right? Most everybody in the world looks forward to retirement so they can go off and do the things that they really enjoy. So it's like, work gives us purpose, but it's like, it's not all what life is about. So anyways, you got to teach your kid about that. And I'm going to do the best I can to stress that. And, his mother and I, it's like, we'll do things like, our plan is to like have him go with us to nonprofits that serve the needy, for example, and help them do things like in our area. It's like there are nonprofits that fill kids backpacks with like supplies, school supplies, or like a lunch program, like food supplement type things for kids or, adults and other nonprofits that will do that. So he understands the value of like giving, and I'll take him through philanthropy and why it's good to give to different causes and how to and how to pick out the good ones, how to evaluate them, all that kind of stuff. It's really important. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I was never taught when I was a kid, right? I just had to figure out, in adulthood. And you just have to try, like if you end up with a UTMA account that your kid gets at like the age of 18, man, they're a multimillionaire. You know how 18-year-olds are. We're all 18. It's like young and dumb. And like the impulse buying to want to look cool with a flashy vehicle, flashy clothes, trips, shit on Instagram, really artificial, superficial shit that we have going on in the world and a lot of social media. It's really disappointing, but a lot of people are hooked on that. And you don't want your kids to fall into that trap. It's really important, in my opinion, to keep them grounded. So they see the value in everything. Do not become a snooty fuck. You do not want a smart asshole for a kid who thinks they're better than other people because they have money, because that should make no difference. Like, in my opinion, it doesn't fucking matter if somebody has no money or somebody has $1 trillion. It doesn't fucking matter. It's like who they are is really what matters. So it's like, you got to drill that into their head. Also, something I'm going to do with my son, and if your kid has a lot of money, you should probably do this. Talk to them about people that can use them for money, right? People that can scam them in business ideas or in businesses. I've been scammed in business. I've lost a lot of money in a scam business deal. Teach them about that. Teach them about not leading with money in relationships, because if you roll up in a fancy car, dressed to the nines or whatever, somebody's gonna think you've got a lot of money, which you do, but if you lead with that, you could end up in trouble. And like 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds are not really gonna be that wise about that kind of shit. Most of them, some of them are, thankfully, but a lot of them aren't. And so you gotta talk about that kind of stuff. You gotta talk about everything that people with money have to go through. Like, how about how relationships change? I mean, imagine my son going through college, graduates about 21. That's when he gets his UTMA account. His college buddies, he's still living with them in a house or an apartment, and he's got millions of dollars, and they don't. They hardly have anything. They have a lot of debt. They don't have much of anything. So it's like, what's he gonna do? You know, because he could be like, let's book a private jet and bounce down to the Caribbean, you know, for this just lavish weekend. Well, what can that do to friendships? One, you can start to be used for money. Two, you know, people might not like you. They might be envious of you. So you gotta talk about stealth wealth and that kind of stuff with your kid. It's so hard, I think, especially for young people, to deal with that, I think. So I think that'll be one of the issues that I face with him, just trying to explain that. And I feel like it's one of those things that he's probably just gonna have to learn the hard way, because, you know, all of us, it's like, generally speaking, teenagers get to the point where it's like they don't value their parents' opinion over the opinion of other people or of their own, and so they might, like, you know, dispute what you tell them about something and just do it anyway, which, you know, everybody does that. You and I did that with different things, right? It's to be expected. Some things to think about, but that's basically kind of a high level plan. Like, it's so important. Financial education is so important. And if you have a lot of money, or your kids have a lot of money because of a UTMA account or a Roth IRA, but a Roth IRA they can't touch basically until they're 60. But, well, they could pay a major penalty and pull it all out. That would be a massive mistake. So teach them not to fucking do that. But they could choose to do that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, I guess. They needed the money. So teach them, if they really needed to do that, they could do it. They're gonna have to pay big penalties for doing that. Yeah. Teach them everything that you do. It's like, I wasn't really taught about any of this stuff when I was a kid. I had to learn it. I got my first bank account when I was a freshman in college, you know, away from home. And it's like, I didn't, you know, I understood the concept of credit cards, did not know how much the APR was going to burn me and how much I was going to get in credit card debt and the number of years it took me to get out. And so definitely stress your kids not to let that happen to you. Try to teach them from your mistakes if you can. It's not always possible, you know, but just do the best you can. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, man. I mean, but yeah, if you do it right, your kid can come out to be super knowledgeable about money, finance, investing, and also a very, very good person, like very grounded with money and grounded in the relationships, you know. And it's like, so you got to put the work in. It's not an easy job as a parent, but it's really rewarding, you know. I haven't gotten to the stage like where he's, you know, gone off to college and moved out of the house yet and grown up, but it'll be super rewarding if it all works out. I think it'll work out. I'm hoping it's going to work out, you know, years from now. So hopefully I gave you guys something to think about. If there's something I forgot to talk about, what I'll try to do is put it in the pinned comment below or the description. So just check that, just in case I forgot something. But it's pretty much everything that I know I want to teach him before he's 18. So everything about money, debt, taxes, you know, investing, all that kind of stuff. It's so important. All right, that's it for this video. Hope you guys are doing well. I will see you maybe today, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Might be raining in a little bit. You see the storm clouds. The storm clouds are all around. They're coming. So I don't know that I'll do one tonight, but if I do, I will. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.